That's right, broadcasting like nobody's listening. This is the Mike Sevilla radio program on a Sunday morning. Well, actually, Sunday afternoon. And so, with the words of Gail Stevens and with the discussion and the comments that I've been reading on Twitter and on people's Facebook pages, it really got me thinking about my specialty, about our specialty of family medicine. Everybody's saying that he was one of the founders of the specialty. Heard him described as one of the intellectual founders in the field of family medicine. So if you're a family doc or if you're in the family medicine community, put the question to you, who are the founders of family medicine? Who are they? Can you name them? Can you name one? Can you name one other one? I know I can't. And that really got me thinking about things. Who are these people? Gets me curious about them. If you talk to surgeons or you talk to pediatricians, you talk to other specialties, they can name the icons of their specialty. They usually have things, named after them in their specialty. Not so much about family medicine. Why is that? Is it just because we're such a newer specialty than everybody else? I mean, our culture, our society in general celebrates youth, celebrates the young person, and unfortunately tends to discard older people. And is that what is happening here? I mean, how do we honor the history of our specialty? How do we honor family medicine history? Do we talk about family medicine history? Now, I know, people in training programs and family medicine residency programs, that curriculum is very jam-packed with learning skills. But there probably isn't much time to talk about history. And maybe they did talk about history in my residency, and I just tuned them out because I was focused on learning skills and medical knowledge rather than the history. I mean, when should people learn about the history of our specialty? I mean, I do have one name now, Dr. Gail Stevens. But who else should I read about? Who else should I get to know? Whose writings, whose presentations should I start to read about? And I know that my friends in the American Academy of Family Physicians who are not going to listen to this show and who are not going to watch this video that I put up on Facebook and YouTube, the first thing they're going to say is, oh yeah, go to the AAFP Center for the History of Family Medicine. Just go there. Don't bother me. Just go there and read what you want to read. And I looked it up. I forgot that it was there. But it's been there for a while. But that's just saying something like, well, if you want to learn about United States history, just go to Washington, D.C. Don't bother me. Just go there, learn it, and shut up. But I think we should do more than that. I mean, I think we should... They deserve better. We should recognize and reflect upon the founders and the icons and the pillars of our specialty when we gather, when we get together, when we're at meetings. Does that make sense? And it's just not at a national level, too. I mean, I know there are a lot of people at the state level who did a lot of things in their state, in their community, for our specialty, but never really rose to national prominence. There should be ways where we can recognize those people too, remember those people, say their words, say their ideas when we get together. I don't know, call me crazy. But the only way, I think, to really more appreciate our specialty, the more appreciate how we are as advocates for our specialty, as activists for our specialty, we should recognize those who have come before us. Because really, before you can look forward, you have to look back. And there are lessons that we can learn. There are words and ideas that can remind us about how radical the idea of family medicine was back then. And maybe that will help us recognize that better, help energize us to what the work that we need to do now. I mean, I admit that I am ignorant when it comes to this specialty, when it comes to the history of the specialty, specifically the history of the specialty. I mean, for all I know, the words and the phrases and the ideas that we're coming up with on social media and technology, they're probably the same ideas that have been talked about for 50 years or more. Probably. So that is the type of stuff that I have been thinking about in the past few days, is that it's easy to get trapped. It's easy to get on this hamster wheel of work every day and balancing work and life and all that stuff, to carve out some other time to do a little history lesson, to expand your mind, to expand your knowledge about where we have been as a specialty and where we are going as a specialty. And I know I am very busy too, but I am really going to try to read a lot more about the history. I think that will help me appreciate family medicine more. I think that will re-energize me as an advocate and an activist for our specialty. And I hope it doesn't take the passing of another family medicine icon or founder to get people to say, hey, we should really read what they wrote decades ago. Because it's probably very similar to what we are talking about today. So that's all I have for you on this very brief podcast here this afternoon. I know nobody's going to listen to this. But I'm glad that I am talking like nobody's listening, like broadcasting like nobody's listening. I wanted to share this with you. I know some people are going to listen to this, and I appreciate those people out there who are going to be listening to this, going to be pondering this, going to be thinking about it. I encourage you to talk to me about it on the website, on Twitter, on Facebook, and maybe we can get a little bit more appreciation of the history of our specialty, the history of family medicine. And I think as I appreciate the history more, then I think that will further inspire me to continue the work that I'm doing as an advocate and as an activist for family medicine. My name is Mike Sevilla. I encourage you to check out the website at drmikesevilla.com. That can get you all my social media projects on Twitter and Facebook and the blog, and yes, LinkedIn even as well. So hope all of you are doing well, and have a good rest of the weekend, and we'll talk to all of you very soon. Have a good day, everybody.